Dear learners, I am Ridita Tasmin. Welcome you all to the program of Bangladesh Open University. Today we will discuss from Bachelor of Business Studies program. Our topic is Lesson 3 and the title is Production of a New Things. Sounds interesting, right? Yes. Today our topic is very interesting. So learners, please take your Business English course book. But before we start reading, we have to know the objectives. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to read and answer questions based on different sections, identify and use linkers, then identify words which refer to our natural resources, and finally, you will be able to describe a process of manufacturing. So, our title was Production of a New Thing. We generally sell off our old newspapers, bottles, cans or other used materials. These used materials can be converted into a new thing. This is called recycling. Learners, are you with me? Now I will start reading the passage. Our first section is recycling rubbish not only helps save money, it also helps the environment. We lessen the pollution that is created by burning rubbish and we save valuable resources. Western countries waste a great deal of Earth's resources. In Bangladesh, a lot of trees are felled every week just for printing of different newspapers. Recycling used paper would easily save these trees. Many countries encourage recycling and new technology allows more waste to be reused. Most of the world's rubbish can be reused: paper, metals, glass and even some plastics. Now, if we summarize this passage, we will find that the things we use, it can be converted into new thing and we can also reuse it again, and it saves the environment. And technology also allows waste to be reused. এখন আমরা এখান থেকে কিছু ট্রু ফলস বের করব। আমাদের কোশ্চেনে আছে recycling is reusing the waste. What do you think? Is it true or false? The statement is recycling is reusing the waste. Yes, we know from the text that it's true. So, let's go to the next section. In the next section, we find that plastic is one of the most difficult substances to recycle because it comes in so many varieties. Some plastic bottles, for example, consist of 6 layers of different types of plastic, each designed to give the bottles certain qualities: shape, strength, flexibility. And as yet, there is no simple way to be turned an old plastic bottle into a new one. Plastic scrap can only be turned into a product of lower quality. A plastic might be cleaned, cut into very tiny pieces and used to stuff seat cushions. A mixture of plastic waste can be recycled into plastic timber and used to make durable fencing. But a lot of plastic waste still has to be thrown away. Metals are different. Any car on the road today will consist in part of earlier cars that have been scrapped and recycled into new steel and other metals. The more valuable the metal like gold and silver, the more it pays to recycle it. Aluminium is worth recycling because extracting it from bauxite consumes a huge amount of electricity. So dear learners, আমরা এখান থেকে অনেক নতুন নতুন কিছু ইনফরমেশন জানলাম. So we know that plastic is very difficult to recycle, and the other metals like expensive metals, silver, gold, these are very expensive metals, and the more expensive the metal is, the more expensive the process of recycling. So if we try to find out some statements which are true or false, let's see. Plastic can be recycled and converted into a new plastic mug. What do you think? We know that plastic can be converted into another plastic material. So we can say that it's true. Dear learners, let's move on to the next section. Glass is also worth recovering. The most sensible method is to use glass bottles as often as possible. In countries which still use milk bottles, the average bottle makes about 30 trips to and from the dairy. Broken glass, known as cullet, can also be recycled, and many Western countries have bottle banks into which used bottles can be thrown. Usually there are payments. Bottle banks depend on people's goodwill. The success of bottle bank varies widely from country to country. The Swiss and Dutch recover 50% of their glass, while in Britain only 12% is recovered. In Bangladesh, of course, we sell our bottles which are then reused. Glass is best separated by color. Since cullet of mixed colors can be used only to make green glass. Broken glass can be remelted in furnace, and then it can easily be shaped into new bottles and other objects. Half the world's waste consists of paper. Many countries import waste paper rather than new pulp for their paper mills. The waste is pulped, cleaned and bleached to remove most of the ink and dirt before it is turned into new paper in the same way as good pulp or rags. Japan now makes half its paper by recycling. It is true that in Bangladesh we generally avoid waste. However, as we enter the 21st century, we are beginning to imitate some of the wasteful habits of Western countries. This is something that all of us need to think about. So, from this section we will find some true and false statements. Suppose if I draw the example, the Swiss and the Dutch make half their paper by recycling. I think you know the answer, it's false. Then cullet cannot be recycled. This is also false. Green glass can be made from broken glass of different colors. You know it's true. And a major portion of the world's waste consists of paper. This is also true. Now, if we discuss overall questions from this section, we can say what are the advantages of recycling. We know from section 1, 2 and 3 that recycling saves our environment, it saves our money, it also saves our resources, valuable resources. And when you go shopping, would you like the shopkeeper to use paper or polythene to pack the things you buy? Give reasons for your answers. Understood? Whenever you go for shopping, what do you prefer? Paper or polythene? I think you will prefer paper. because paper can be recycled, but polythene cannot be recycled. Dear learners, now it's time to learn grammar, and we will learn how to identify and use link words. আমরা কিছু এক্সাম্পল ড্র করব এবং দুটো সেন্টেন্সের মাধ্যমে কিভাবে এবং দুটো সেন্টেন্সের মধ্যে কিভাবে লিঙ্ক ওয়ার্ড ইউজ করতে হয় সেটা আমরা দেখব। It is true that in Bangladesh we generally avoid waste. However, as we enter the 21st century, we are beginning to imitate some of the wasteful habits of the Western countries. এখানে আমরা দুটো আলাদা আলাদা সেন্টেন্স দেখছি এবং এটাকে কানেক্ট করলো বা লিঙ্ক করলো হচ্ছে however ওয়ার্ডটি। Next, a mixture of plastic waste can be recycled into plastic timber and used to make durable fencing. এটি একটি সেন্টেন্স। আরেকটি সেন্টেন্স হচ্ছে a lot of plastic waste still has to be thrown away. Now we will use but to connect these two sentences. A mixture of plastic waste can be recycled into plastic timber and used to make durable fencing, but a lot of plastic waste still has to be thrown away. In these sentences, second sentence is always contrasting. In these two examples, we find that the word but or however, these two words are introducing the second sentence. অর্থাৎ প্রথম সেন্টেন্সের পর আমরা but বা however ইউজ করে সেকেন্ড সেন্টেন্সটির কন্ট্রাস্ট যে আইডিয়া আছে সেটাকে লিঙ্ক করলাম। But is generally used in informal context. We can also use still or yet instead of but. For example, the teacher was angry, but he did not punish the student. We can also use the teacher was angry, still he did not punish the student. We can also use the teacher was angry, yet he did not punish the student. এতক্ষণ আমরা কিভাবে লিঙ্ক ওয়ার্ডগুলোকে আইডেন্টিফাই করব এবং কিভাবে সেগুলোকে সেন্টেন্সে ইউজ করব সেটা জানলাম। Now it's time to increase our word power. কেন word power বলা হচ্ছে? Because if we can enrich our vocabulary, we can make new sentences. So here we see score out words which do not constitute our natural resources. এখানে কিছু ওয়ার্ডস দেয়া আছে আমাদের ন্যাচারাল রিসোর্সের সঙ্গে যেগুলো আলাদা রকমের মনে হয় সেগুলোকে আমরা আইডেন্টিফাই করব। সাপোজ এয়ার, ওয়াটার, আর্থ, প্লাস্টিক, ট্রেস, পেপার, বটলস, গোল্ড। Let's try. Here, plastic, paper, bottles. These are not natural resources. So we can identify these words. Now, match the describing words with the noun they describe. We have two columns. In the first column, we have describing words, and in the second column, we have nouns. So we have to relate it. Suppose plastic bottle, it is done for you. Now you try with me. Valuable, valuable resources. Then colored, colored glass. Western countries, plastic bottles, precious metals. So this is the way you can match. Dear learners, we are almost at the end of our program. Now we will learn how to describe a process. The waste is pulped, cleaned and bleached to remove most of the ink and dirt before it is turned into new paper in the same way as wood, pulp or rags. So we find here a description. It describes the process of manufacturing paper using waste substances. The process involves 4 stages. To make the process more explicit, we can use time marker such as first, second, next, finally. So, these are the time markers. If we use these time markers here, we can say like this: first, the waste is pulped, next, it is cleaned, and after that, it is bleached. Finally, it is turned into new paper. So, here is a task for you. If I say, now you can use time markers and describe a process. Now, we will describe a process of writing and sending letters. Suppose if I give you some clues, you can use time markers. Write a letter, put the letter in the envelope, get it weighed, buy stamps, drop the letter into the letter box. So, here we will see how to use time markers. First, write a letter, next put the letter in the envelope, and after that get it weighed, then buy stamps, finally drop the letter into the letter box. So, this is the way you can describe a process. So, that was our today's lesson. আমরা কি কি শিখলাম আজকে? At the end of the lesson, we know how to read and answer questions from different sections. Then we could identify the link words, and then we knew some new words, and finally we could describe a process of manufacturing. Dear learners, I hope you can understand the lesson very well, but if you have any problem, you can contact the tutor of your tutorial center. You can also write to us. Our address is Dean Open School, Bangladesh Open University, Gazipur 1705. Hope to see you again. Till then, stay fine and take care.